Absolutely, Valen. It's our big story of the day. In the Eastern Cape, there are 6 #total shutdown marches taking place, with a memorandum to be handed to the office of the Premier at lunchtime. To talk to us more about this, we're joined by Total Shutdown Eastern Cape organiser Nolitha January. Nolitha, a very good morning to you. Just give us a sense of what has been happening this morning.
Good morning, and thanks for having me. So this morning we have been trying to assemble people to the marching spots. So for Port Elizabeth, as we've been publishing on our social media platforms, we are trying to get people to New Law Courts. And the march officially starts at 11 o'clock, and we will be marching to the City Hall. And we will hand our memorandum of demands to our Mayor Athol Trollip. So that's just a feel of what's been happening today. We are really working hard on the ground to get people there, and things look good so far, yes. And I'll be joining the march in a few minutes.
That's great. Nolitha, just talk us through your outfit and what it symbolizes.
One of the things that we have been saying since the start of the shutdown, we've been saying that my body, not your crime scene. So now you will see that I have this thing over here, and what this signifies is that me as a woman in this country, the current narrative is saying that I could be a crime scene anytime. I am a walking crime scene as a woman in this country, and these chains represent the fact that as women we are not free. We are only free on paper and according to the Constitution, but walk around as a woman, you will find that you are not free. We are still under the enslavement of men. We are still suffering under the hands of men, and these are the things that we are marching for.
Nolitha, you are handing, as you said, a memorandum into the Premier's office later on today. Do you want to just unpack the contents of that memorandum for us?
All right. So for the past couple of weeks, we had started to compile the memorandum, and what we did is we released this to the public so that everyone can have an input on what should be there. We then took this and then we consolidated on it. But the main thing, and which is the most important thing in the memorandum of demands, is really just a cry for help. We want to be taken seriously, and we are trying to maneuver government to actually work with us into trying to find solutions for this problem, because as the total shutdown, we are saying that today is really just the start, and we will continue to work even after today. And yes, so one of the main things in the memorandum of demands is the fact that we wish to be taken seriously, and yes.
You are part of the Port Elizabeth chapter of the Eastern Cape effort for the #total shutdown marches. What are the specific abuse issues that reside in Port Elizabeth? In other areas, you might find that it's child abuse or it's rape.
Okay, so in Port Elizabeth, one of the most prevalent forms of abuse is domestic violence and just abuse that exists within households. That is the most prevalent one in Port Elizabeth. And you would find that, for example, me, myself, I come from a background where at some point domestic violence was a norm. So we are dealing with a problem where abuse is normalized in Port Elizabeth, and we have boyfriends beating girlfriends up. We have children missing and being found dead, children being raped. So I would love to think that we all have one thing in common as everyone else who's marching today, and that thing is that we are all marching for the same things. Child abuse, women abuse, abuse of the LGBTIQA+, and gender non-conforming folks.
So this morning, we've already covered several areas where these marches are taking place, and all of them already seem to be garnering much support. What do you attribute to the success of these marches on this first day, on this first effort? Why do you think you were able to get the buy-in?
This is not a usual march, and I wish to start there. This is really just not a usual march. because it's a march that has been specific in defining what the problem is. We are speaking to the root cause of the problem, and we are bringing the information as it is to the people, because you will find that sometimes it tends to be sugar-coated. No, that is not what we are doing as the total shutdown, because we are saying that we are tired of being statistics and reading about women dying left, right, and center, and children being killed left, right, and center. So I attribute this to the people who have been involved, you know, everyone that's been involved in the planning of this. And even though some women might not be able to be on the ground today, we appreciate the solidarity that we have received this far, because we have a lot of women talking about they can't come because they have other commitments, and one of those commitments is work. But yes, so we really appreciate all of that. And yeah, the reason why you're seeing numbers on the ground today is because this is an issue common to most people. As I've said before, that the current narrative is that in South Africa, we are sitting with a problem where women, our rates of femicide are 5 times the rate of the world's rate. So yeah, this is what we are talking about. So this is something that hits home. This is something that really just hits home to people.
Nolitha, you touched on solidarity, and now the ANC Women's League Youth Desk also organized a parallel march, which they claim is in solidarity with hashtag Shutdown and not necessarily competition against it. Have you and your colleagues been able to have a conversation about this and what it means?
Yes, we've had a lot of conversations about this. And we really are happy that we are all standing up for one cause, you know. And this is very important, that even though we might not be marching with the same, we won't be marching together, but we are marching for the same cause. We have released letters to all political parties, and we have stated the whole time that we are a non-partisan movement, because we wish to be inclusive of everyone, and we do not want to make this about politics. The ANC is the ANC Women's League is the only women's league that have come out to say that, no, we support your cause and we support what you are marching for. However, we would love to march in our colors, and we could not allow that. So yes, other political parties have joined in. You will find that even Julius Malema had tweeted about us and that he's supporting it. So yeah, there's really no problem here. I'm really just happy that we are marching for the same cause.
You said that people were drawn to this because it was dealing with, you've been able to come up with specific messages about what you want to achieve. But there's been questions around why men have been excluded. Why has that been the case?
All right. So yeah, no, we've been getting this question a lot. We are not hostile about the fact that we are not including men in this march. No? We have said previously, and we continue to say, that men can be a part of the march but not be on the ground. And this is the reason why. On the ground, we have women who are victims of abuse, women who have been raped before, women who have been through traumatic experiences at the hands of men. So we are saying that we are trying to create a safe space for women, and how we achieve this is by not having men on the ground.
Let me end our conversation by asking you what I should have asked right at the beginning, and I'm sure you've been asked this one a lot as well. There might have been a huge buy-in into the concept, but who is hashtag Total Shutdown? How did the whole notion come about?
The whole notion came about when women decided that they were tired. They were tired of reading about women who are dying the whole time due to femicide. We were tired of being statistics. We were tired of being of always constantly being in danger. We are tired of being in fear. And this is how a Total Shutdown started. And yes, it will continue, and yeah, this is what we are doing.
Nolitha, I said to you earlier that we've seen the marches throughout, not throughout the country, but we've been to the Eastern Cape where you are. What is happening this morning where you are specifically?
Right. So in Port Elizabeth right now, as I've mentioned, women are making their way to New Law Courts in North End. So right now, if you're a woman and you're in Port Elizabeth and you want to join, do not fear. Come. LGBTIQA+, come. Gender non-conforming, please come. So yes, women are busy making their way to New Law Courts, and at 11 o'clock, our march in Port Elizabeth will officially start. And yeah, I can't wait to go there. I'm actually very excited to be there, yes.
One day event, or do you have a month-long calendar as it's Women's Month?
We have a lifelong calendar for the total shutdown. So it's not about August, it is not about the 1st of August, and it's not about the 9th of August. We will be working on this now. We are saying that today is a day in which you are hearing about us, but as we move forward, the work then begins. Now we will be working with the root cause, penetrating into churches, penetrating into schools, and into other spaces. So today is really just only a beginning.
Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best for your march today, not only in your area, which is PE, but the national effort. And that's Nolitha January. She is the spokesperson for the Port Elizabeth chapter of the hashtag Total Shutdown. They're talking about completely changing society.